WCW Nitro versus WWF Raw is war.
The date is April 14th, 1997.
I'm Spencer.
And I'm JD.
And this is The Heel Turn.
We're going to start things off with WCW Nitro. We're to start to a show. The NWO music comes on. Weird, right? Weird. They come out, they make their way to the announcement table just to say, hey, Kevin Nash here. Got a match against Lex. That'll be all.
He's got to go through me before he can take on Hulk Hogan, which completely invalidates the pay-per-view.
Walks off.
Barbarian versus Chris Benoit, and Jimmy Hart helps him out. Benoit dodges Barbarian early and starts kicking him in the corner. Jimmy pulls his leg. Benoit jumps out there and punches Jimmy Hart. We rarely see him take a bump. And Barbarian throws him back in the ring after a little bit of trying.
He slams him into it.
He slams him into the ropes and he just falls off.
Ow!
Barbarian does a really impressive top rope belly to belly, but then tries for a headbutt and misses that. And then Benoit wins with the diving headbutt.
His own? Wait, no. Was it? I thought he went belly. He was trying to... I think.
What?
Belly to belly. Or he belly flopped on him. He didn't hit him with his head.
Oh, did he hit him with his... Well, his move is a top rope headbutt.
He should have did it. He should have did it. That's why I'm like, what the hell?
He wins with his... He dropped his body on him.
Some part of his body.
We get Dungeon of Doom, big attack.
No.
Mongo and Jeff Jarrett run to help out. Where is woman? I don't know. They never ask again. Maybe she had the day off.
Dude, she wasn't even there, yeah.
Chris does a little interview. He says it's karma, and Sullivan is like the plague.
Or a virus. The coronavirus. It's gonna affect you in 2020.
And this is where we stopped paying attention and started making jokes about how Chris Benoit is a prophet from the future.
Exactly. Moving on, we get Hector Guerrero versus Dean Malenko. Our favorite divorcee didn't utter Michelle this time. But we had a typical match. Dean usually sets up a lot of the pacing for a lot of these matches. A lot of very heavy submission based matches. Some people can roll with them, some people can't. Hector didn't seem like he could. He seemed a little bit slow or out of shape in that sense. We get Dean Malenko with a Texas Cloverleaf submission, and he wins, but weirdly Eddie comes out and he's just like, hey, thanks for fucking up my family. And that was it.
Don't blame me.
That was fucking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Next match.
Juventud Guerrera versus Rey Mysterio Jr.
Guerrero. Yeah. Because Ray, he's a Guerrero, right?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I thought his last name was Mysterio.
That's not Hispanic. It's like
Ray uses a little crucifix move, which he just gets out of, and then does a Hurricane Rana to Juventud over the ropes. Hoovy does a really awesome powerbomb off the apron. He does like a whole, almost like a springboard thing.
Yeah, but it looks like it fucks up Ray's like, bitch, I'm light. Why did you do that hard?
They go for what would look like a very complex springboard spot where Hoovy tries to do a spinning crossbody, and Ray is supposed to drop kick him, but they don't get enough distance. Somebody's to blame, but it's complicated anyway, so whatever. At least they tried. And they don't really do it.
At least they tried.
Ray hits the springboard Hurricane Rana for the finish.
Yeah. Yay! We get a quick promo with Luna Vachon talking about she is the woman to do blank. She is the woman to do blank. And she is the woman to do blank. Followed by Metal Scream!
She's number one contender.
And then she's out of there. That's kind of it. So that's the women's division, folks. We got 3 wrestlers. Woo! And one's on layaway. So, whatever. Yeah, next match. Ultimate Dragon versus Lane Carlson?
Lane Carlson.
More like Lame Carlson. Am I right, folks? Anyway, there's a series of awkward Irish whip exchanges. I'm just like...
At one point, he pushed his whole body. Like,
He's like, no,
go against the rope."
bitch, let me get you first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by he, we mean Ultimate Dragon, because he's the only one who knows what's going on. Yeah.
He's in charge.
He's also on layaway, so he's in charge, but he's, I don't know, there's a weird series of spots. Lane, actually, for a jobber, is getting a lot more mileage, hitting a couple drop kicks, even pinned for a 2 count on Ultimate Dragon. Hits him with a clothesline from heck. It's not the clothesline from hell. But knocks Ultimate Dragon out, and then he jumps onto him from there, which is really interesting. And then Ultimate Dragon gets the momentum back, hits with the crossbody on the outside of the ring. They get back in the ring, Liger suplex for the 3 count, and our winner is Lane. No, Ultimate Dragon.
Yay!
Yeah, good for him.
6 versus Prince Iaukea for the light heavyweight belt. 6 starts off with a headlock, and then dodges a crossbody, hits his own, after some other moves, hits a Bronco Buster, which we all love.
No. Oh, in between that, there's also the 40-second stare down of Reggie White, who's in attendance.
Oh, yeah.
They're in Philadelphia, but Reggie White is a Green Bay Packer player, is just staring at the match, but has shades on that look like he could probably like make eye contact with someone else and they not know. He's probably looking like, what the fuck, the entire time.
Yeah.
Followed by Larry or Tony Schiavone is talking about his career. Larry follows up with a very eloquent whatever afterwards.
6 misses a senton bomb. Prince hits a springboard clothesline, which is pretty cool, and then messes up a sunset flip. And then 6 wins with a scissored chicken wing crossface, which he called something else later.
The Buzz Killer.
The Buzz Killer, yeah.
I could just imagine him coked up on all kinds of drugs.
I thought the Buzz Killer was a sleeper hold. That's a joke because it's boring. I had to explain that before you thought I was an idiot.
Well, the joke's still dead. Either way, we get our next little series of promos. It seems to be promo match.
Yeah.
What we're leaning into, a promo match promo. Either way, we got Rick, Kevin Green, and Roddy Piper coming out. Now, this is a bit of a caused some backstage heat, apparently, between some of the NWO. Okay. Rodman sounds like he has labored breathing when he's out there.
Roddy.
Oh, Roddy. Yeah, my bad.
Rodman's a different guy.
Yeah, he also sucks. So he can't breathe. He sort of looks like a fool on some of the analogies that he's using. He says that the NWO is jumping out of the closet.
Spandex.
Yeah, because they're wearing spandex, and he needs to jump in there and figure out what's getting them to jump out. And I'm like,
what?
How are you?
I'm not piecing this one together.
Yeah, and I bet you Rick is just like, what the fuck are we doing? And he talks about how they think they're so cool with their long hair riding their skateboards because that was rad and tubular back in the 90s, I guess. I don't even know if tubular is a term then. We're getting to where it became tight. So, fucking stupid. But he claims that they've been the ones cutting down trees, filling the asphalt. Cutting down trees.
Filling the asphalt.
Cutting down trees.
Filling the asphalt.
And then they've been paving the road for wrestlers like him and them. The man talking about NWO. And it's funny because immediately after he starts talking about Kevin Green. And he goes, he's got to run, 30 or 40 yards because he's a hero. No, he's just a football player. No offense to football players watching this, but you're not a hero if you play a game.
You're a bitch.
So, Kevin Green gets on. He's looking left and right like, fuck, I need to stare at something.
Yeah. Where's the camera? Where's the red light?
Yeah, pretty much says Roddy and Rick are made wrestling. And they should essentially be looked up to. Mean Gene. Ric Flair comes on and gives the most.
Can we just mention too that Kevin Green calls them rookies? Calls like a lot of people rookies.
Yes, he calls them rookies. I think he actually did wrestle before this.
Oh, okay.
Gotta look it up, but it wasn't lengthy. And then he goes, bunch of rookies, and I was like, all right. So Kevin Nash was on the scene back when he had the shitty gimmick with WCW, right?
Yeah, I mean he started in like the early 90s, late 80s.
Yeah. And then you look at, if we're being honest, you'd have to look at Scott Hall. That's 80s, right? Mm-hmm. You'd have to look at Six. 80s, isn't he? Or early 90s?
He's the early to mid 90s because he's super young.
He's super young. Okay. Yeah, well, he looked young as the 1-2.
Macho Man's late 80s. Mid 80s.
I don't think he's
maybe
talking
even
about
early.
Macho. I don't think he's talking about Macho.
Well, I mean, if we're looking at NWO, they really have a lot of old people in it.
Yeah, but if they're saying anything like that, then they'd have to, by association, put Hulk in there. And technically, they tried to absolve him. Mm-hmm. But maybe not Macho, because Rick actually says a really interesting line after saying, Mean Gene. Very calm and collective, not popping out of his shirt yet.
Gene.
He calls out Macho's dad for saying he wouldn't like the person you are now. If anyone who knows Macho, which none of us do, or did, rather, before his heart attack at Crux.
Terrible tragedy.
Yeah, man, terrible tragedy. Right into it. He looked up to his dad like crazy. So the fact that he's like, yeah, your dad wouldn't like, you as you are, I wonder if there's even heat between those two. Because that's like a huge fuck you.
Yeah.
And then during this time, he's going through the years. He's talking about what? 73, 83, 93, and he goes, we'll be here till 2003.
Different company, but...
He probably should have talked with Benoit about that one.
Yeah.
We won't be here much longer. But yeah, essentially they're just talking shit the entire time.
Next, yeah, they don't really say anything much. Just...
It's building for the pay-per-view. But
gotcha.
The audience doesn't know that.
Yeah.
The audience doesn't even know that.
We know that in hindsight.
Yeah.
High Voltage versus Public Enemy. And this is them doing their Philadelphia street fight. Public Enemy is wearing their Flyers jerseys. It is a street fight with garbage can lids and garbage cans. And then there's, I think at one point Tony Schiavone goes, we have a wrestling move, because he does a suplex or something. The only thing of note here is they double stack the tables and then do a drive-by on them.
That's what it's called, the drive-by?
Yeah, it's like Rage or Chaos or...
I think it's Rage.
Yeah.
Streets of Rage. Bars.
Drive-by.
We get Giant versus Jobber. Giant hits a choke slam, 3 count, he wins.
You know the next one?
Go on the next one.
Oh,
me? Oh, yeah. Conan versus DDP.
With Kimberly.
With Kim there. Kim's looking in good spirits compared to what, like 2 weeks ago or something like that? Because she's now coming out with him, which is cool, and whatnot. Their family, I'm sure, made them bond over their travels together.
Yeah.
All that fun stuff. But anyway, they come out, DDP's looking like his usual self. Conan comes out, Viva la Raza. And then there's a little bit of a taunting thing back and forth between them. Where he's like, oh man, I can hump the air too. And he's like, but you don't do it like me.
Yeah.
Whatever. They do a little bit of that back and forth. And then we follow up with an RKO. Diamond Cutter.
I thought he was going to do the DDP like The Rock does sometimes.
Oh yeah, and then he's like, no, I want to hit you even harder. And then, yeah, it was a DDT that he turned, even though he had the advantage, into an RKO. Or Diamond Cutter. So it's a Diamond Cutter out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then Macho Man interferes. I put Brother X3, so that's brother.
Well, he's in the crowd. I wouldn't say he interferes.
Yeah.
He interjects.
Interjects after the 3 count. Calls out DDP, says, hey, your wife has fantasies about me. And then DDP, even though he won, and even though he protected his wife's honor, I guess that's how you want to put it, very machismo style, he's got nothing else to prove, goes, let me chase down this dude who's got crutches.
Yeah.
And his wife.
He's quickly going to turn heel, beating up a crippled guy.
Yeah. Right? Imagine that double turn.
Whoa.
Or just a heel turn. Whatever.
Harlem Heat versus Jeff Jarrett and Mongo with Deborah. JJ starts strong, tags Mongo, and Booker T tags in Stevie. So now we got big guy versus big guy. They knock him out anyway. Do the horseman strut while the camera is
going to commercial. Don't you guys like this?
Harlem Heat takes charge when we get back. Booker hits a scissor kick on Jeff Jarrett, which is the best scissor kick of the night. I'm talking about you, Ahmed.
Motherfucker.
JJ hits a sunset flip on one of them, and then they tag out to the other before.
Because they look alike.
Yeah. Harlem Heat. Looking the same. Can't tell them apart.
Stevie Ray has a successful career, right?
There's some Halliburton shenanigans. Mongo gets thrown in the ring. I apologize if I missed any of this. You can correct me. Mongo picks it up and tries to hit one of them with it, but it gets pulled away by Sherry. And then Sherry and Deborah start getting a little tussle.
Oh, dude, Sherry straight chokes Deborah.
Yeah.
Deborah's like, well, all right.
And then Sherry tries to hit Deborah with the Halliburton, but Deborah drops, so it hits the turnbuckle. But then she keeps going down and hits Deborah anyway, which never gets brought up again.
Yeah, whatever.
They just say, she dodged it.
Shrug it off.
Like, no. She had a concussion.
It hit her right in her crown, yeah.
Why did I write Slamboree?
Oh, we'll get there. So, it's a DQ at that point. And then from there, Mongo cuts a promo.
Right. Yes. Mongo's going to take Reggie White, who they've been focusing on incredibly. We've given just incredible amount of time, which now we know why.
Like a stalker.
He's going to face him at the Slamboree.
Which, can we just point out, last week, these guys were fighting each other. And then now he's like, hey, the contract's been signed. Jeff Jarrett is. Yeah. And then Mongo's like, yeah, you're right, man. I love you. You know, like, what the fuck?
It's inconsistent.
Very.
But he said some disparaging things about Reggie. Reggie sold him out for money. Doesn't care about Philadelphia anyway. Yada, yada, yada. And then they have a little pull apart. Mongo spits on him. And then Reggie just tackles him, and now they get pulled apart.
Goes pretty quickly, too. Through all of it. I was impressed.
Main event time.
Main event, we're looking at Lex versus Nash. I don't really like these matches because I'm not the biggest fan of Kevin Nash. I can just tell you he, I think it was a chokeslam on Lex. And he attempts to hit him with a 3 count, gets a 2 out of that. Luger's just kicking out multiple times. It's nothing really entertaining. And to be honest with you, with the advantage that Nash had, pretty much this whole match, NWO decides to interfere.
Yeah.
Even though he could have just won it.
Yeah, he could have saved Hogan.
But
apparently. No. But yeah, no, they just beat him up.
They beat him up, and then now, as a result, it was a DQ. And, yeah, they're just beating up on Lex for no reason. There's really no build up to this.
I guess maybe the goal is to injure him so that for Hulk Hogan he's all soft.
They did come out with a pipe.
Yeah.
But, yeah, DDP interferes, comes out, gets fucked. And then Giant comes out.
Which, by the way, with the DDP thing, it was funny because Tony should shut his mouth. Because he kind of ruined the moment.
He did.
He's like, DDP's here, but Macho Man's not even in the ring. It's like, oh, I guess he shouldn't have been there at all.
Yeah, I think Tony's seeing the cracks on occasions. And he's like, I have to say something.
Yeah.
If I don't, my own integrity is jeopardized.
Yeah.
So then he's getting whooped. Giant comes out, and goes, and then from there, Sting comes out immediately after. This is the first time in, I think, months that Sting has come out through the front.
Yeah.
By himself. Because he was doing that with NWO.
Something wrong with the
Raptor? Right? The Raptors aren't. He's like, the integrity, all these things. He's like, no, let's give it to the Rav promotion. Give it to Owen. He'll use it.
Yeah, maybe that's where Owen did his big drop.
So anyway, Sting comes out. Elbow drop, right? Anyway, so Sting comes out, and he's just handing out bats. He's like, bat.
You want a bat? You want a bat?
Yeah, so he gives bats to everyone. They come in, and then, Sting comes in first, blows out Kevin Nash's legs, sweeps him with the bat, and then I guess they all end up rolling out, and then all of a sudden now they're all in the ring. Weird thing to point out, on the network, we were only about an hour in.
Well, I assume that the thing was just messed up.
Yeah, I guess for whatever reason it was messed up and didn't feel like an hour and a half. It just felt like an hour.
It went by quick.
Especially spending time with good old Spence.
Every day goes by quick.
Yeah.
Life is short. So next up was WWF Raw, and I apologize to anybody watching if we go through this quickly. This was a nothing show.
It was really bad. They're doing a simulcast. Yeah,
with Johannesburg, Africa, and South Africa, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
And then where in America?
I don't think they ever said.
Nowhere.
Let's put it this
down.
way: the American showing on that side, I think they only had like 2 matches, and the rest, and a promo, and the rest were South Africa.
Legion of Doom versus the Godwins. There's audio problems, so we don't get any talking. No, I'm sorry. We do get talking. It's gonna be the next one.
There are audio problems.
Hawk no sells the pile driver. Hawk shoulder tackles the post. And then they work his shoulder for a little bit. Owen and British Bulldog enter. British Bulldog hits Animal and Goblins win. So they're gonna have a match on Sunday.
Thank God. We get Triple H versus Rhodey. This is
Where it started.
where it started. So it's a very quiet match. You can't even hear the announcers. They're talking about the in-ring or even making any jokes or anything like that. And just to give you guys a heads up as far as to how it's set up here, we have, in America, we have Vince McMahon and Steve Cornette. And then in Johannesburg, we have JR and
Honky Tonk Man.
Honky Tonk. So when we're in Africa for the Triple H and Rhodey match, Honky Tonk and JR aren't really talking at all.
I think it's an audio problem.
Yeah, it's an audio problem. So you can't really hear them. And multiple times throughout the broadcast, they say, "Hey, we apologize for the quality of this video. It was captured the way that it aired, essentially." So you're just like, "Oh, so it's going to be awful." And it was. And guess what else was awful? The matches too. It's a very just straightforward match. I don't really think Triple H is all that Triple H is all that interesting of a wrestler at this point. Like, there's no real heel work.
I mean, I think he is, but you have to
give him someone better.
Yeah, maybe Rhodey isn't quite there yet. I mean, Rhodey is, well, I guess we like to say that we don't know what's going to happen later. So
yeah,
Rhodey. Is
wait, you didn't know? Yeah, it's interesting.
Rhodey's a very old-looking gimmick where it's like when you do your Hulk up and everything, you have to be like
a character. Yeah,
doing this, and it's like, wow, that's embarrassing.
He's doing a very much an impression of. It's weird. He does Elvis, but he's also doing like pop locking as well, and things like that. So you're like, all right, man, you got to figure out where the fuck you're going.
Yeah.
At this point, so he essentially just goes, like, does a little bit of hulking up, dances the pain away. And as he's starting to get an advantage over Triple H, Honky Tonk interferes, punches Rhodey in the stomach, I guess. And then Triple H hits Pedigree as a result onto Rhodey, 3 count. And then from there, Rhodey and Honky get into it, and Honky says, "Hey, Sunday, my protege is going to wrestle you." Who's his protege? He doesn't actually have one.
It's not Billy Gunn, right?
It's not Billy Gunn. It's not Rhodey. So who's it going to be? I guess we'll find out. Maybe it's no one.
On Sunday.
Sunday.
We get the Rocky versus Savio Vega. I wrote here match. Farouk enters. He has a busted arm. Rock actually hits the rock bottom, then hits his crossbody, but Vega rolls him up and pulls the tights for the win.
Who thought of that?
And then Ahmed Johnson comes out and clears house with his 2x4.
Yeah, picks up Rocky.
You have some notes on this, right?
Yeah, start of the match, we get some Rocky chants as he's coming out, which is interesting. Nice that he's being so well respected in Johannesburg. You know, Rocky, he's a very well behaved individual, so I'm sure when he was out there, he made some friends. So, the entire audience. And then Honky Tonk makes fun of apartheid. 97.
It's a different time, baby.
Different time.
That's the badge.
That's the badge. There's a quick Ahmed promo where they go, "Hey man, you gonna bring that 2x4 out to the ring?" And he's like, "Wouldn't you?" Which is like, yeah, no fucking shit. Honky Tonk Man makes fun of Ahmed at that point, and then Jim Cornette makes fun of Ahmed as well, stating Hooked on Phonics is needed for Ahmed, even though that's a reading tool. Obviously, Jim Cornette is a bitch. So then we jump over to the Savio roll up 3 count, and that's it. Next,
Austin shoots a little promo. They've been holding him down, but they can't hold him down anymore. Vince says, "Yeah, well, talent always rises to the top."
that's a good point.
And then Austin says Bret Hart copies Stone Cold. but he's gonna whip his ass on Sunday. Mm-hmm. He can copy him all he wants, but he can't beat him. So there you go.
He's gonna whoop his beep this Sunday.
We get Sultan versus Goldust. Goldust is gayish. Did you know that? He's kind of gay. That's how they start the match.
Is that how they say it?
No, but that's the whole thing is he's like... Sultan's like, I ain't falling for that! And then he gets kicked out. Triple H interferes. There's a messed up pile driver. Double pile driver. They don't know how to do that.
I'll grab the legs!
Ask Rhodey in 1999. He'll teach you how to do it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Or Owen. Owen will teach you too.
Yeah.
I don't know if Waldo's dead. So then we jump over to
Oh my god.
Headbangers versus Mankind and Vader. I don't know anyone who's watching WWF at this time and is going, man, I can't wait for that Mankind match. Or, man, I can't wait for that Vader match. Because let me tell you, if I didn't have a Red Bull, I would have been asleep. This shit's fucking boring. There's a quick double team on the Vader with a suplex, and then also this sort of the Irish whip into Vader into the corner. Mankind gets upset, takes them both outside of the ring, starts whooping on him a little bit, then he starts getting took, and then while they're on the ramp, you know, Vader comes out, tackles them both to the ground. They all eventually make their way back into the ring. And for the most part, you're really seeing Vader do really minimal work. It's more Mankind that's
I just think it's intentional, right? Because they're
I guess
trying to get Mankind over for his Sunday match.
Yeah, sort of. And then back in the ring, Mankind actually hits. It wasn't even a clothesline. He jumps out while holding his neck, Thrash's neck. And they go outside the ring. Thrash goes, pulls something from the bottom of the ring, water probably, puts it in his mouth. And then when Mankind comes up to attack Thrash, he spits in his face. Mankind goes down. Ah, it's burning. Doesn't make sense physically, but whatever. Apparently, Thrash's mouth is just full of volatile fluids. And then it's immediate DQ at that point. Technically at that point, Mankind and Vader won. But while blinded, Vader goes, better approach this guy who's, you know, insane, and then make sure he's okay. He goes up to him, offers some form of comfort, and he gets Mandible Clawed right down in the face. And then that's kind of it. That's how it ends. With Undertaker on a recording in Johannesburg.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Just
somewhere stating to rest in peace. It's fucking dumb. Anyway.
Truth Commission. Okay, next up, Ahmed Johnson versus Crush. Ahmed is pretty cocky and hits a scissor kick, not as good as Booker T. He's thrown out. D'Lo kicks him in the back a little bit. Savio Vega enters. No one cares. The Crush applies the claw to his shoulder, which basically is a rest hold. I wrote here butt prop. This is a butt drop. Oh yeah, because he does like an elbow drop, but his elbow's nowhere near it. But his butt lands on his face.
His ass lands, and, you know, Ahmed's what, 300?
350.
That's god damn.
Yeah, I wrote, this is a lazy ass match.
Yeah, it is pretty bad.
Crush chokes him with his belt. There's like he starts to get momentum, but Crush hits him with a knee to stop that.
Yeah.
But Ahmed counters the heart punch with a heel kick, which is pretty nice. And Ahmed wins with a roll up over what was supposed to be a heel. Or a knee.
Surprisingly, huge pop. Everyone's just jumping for joy.
Yeah.
It's like a WrestleMania match, these kids or something. Yeah, Daniel Bryan won! You know, like, finally! Yeah, and it sort of just ends from there, right? I don't think there's anything
Farouk
else.
says...
Oh, that's right.
Farouk says, if you can beat all three of us, then we will end the nation. So, probably that to look forward to on Sunday.
We know it won't happen. So anyway.
So, which one is better, Raw or WCW Nitro?
Or the Johannesburg show. I'm going to say Nitro.
Nitro as well, I agree.
Best match? I gotta say, I don't even know if there was one this week. Yeah, I didn't give a fuck about a single one of these matches.
I will just piss you off, I guess, and say it was the Six versus Prince Iaukea.
I guess I'll give Harlem Heat and Four Horsemen.
Okay.
Good for them.
You could do worse. You could do worse.
Yeah, like Public Enemy, or the Hector Guerrero and Dean Malenko match. I can't believe I'm saying that, Dean, but you fucking failed me. But I think the worst match.
What about Sultan versus Goldust?
No, I'm gonna give it to Rocky and Savio, because that match was too long for no reason.
I feel bad. I didn't want to give it to that one because I didn't see the whole thing. I went to the bathroom.
Yeah. I'm going to say it just because at the end of the day, you have to look at the fact that Rocky really didn't do any offense until towards the end, and then you got to roll up on him. Mm-hmm. Other than that, Savio is choking him this whole time. Rocky's just chilling. He's just on the ground, just sell it, make it look like it hurts. And then...
what's weird is that there's going to be a match with them at the pay-per-view. For the Intercontinental Championship.
It's going to be fucking boring, let me tell you. Because, like, you have to look at those two wrestlers and realize that... How long has Savio been wrestling?
Long time. Like a decade at least at that point.
Fucking washed up. Just quit.
He's still wrestling, I think.
He's in Dominican.
Yeah.
Just don't do it here, man. Just don't do it on WWE. WWF, whatever.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad week. I mean, honestly, the WCW Nitro was not boring. It was a fine show.
It wasn't...
It just wasn't... There was nothing like, oh my god about it, but it wasn't.
No good matches necessarily. Like, the Juventud and Ray had some good parts, but also...
Maybe that's the one I would go with, even though it had the botch. But it had a cool powerbomb.
I had a cool powerbomb. And Ray, for the most part, is really good about being on point. Mm-hmm. There's a couple times where he goofs, but he's very high risk, high reward. What do you expect? He is the best lucha that's on American TV.
I think the only reason I would pick the 6 match over it is because it had stakes to it, and I didn't really know who would win. Like, that combo of it, and then it was a decent match, so...
Come on, you know who would win. Nash wasn't booking yet.
It was a clean finish.
Nash was booking.
It was a clean finish, though. How often do you get that in an NWO match? Technically, it was an NWO match.
Hard cut to Nash and Luger. Just stomping on Luger.
Stomping on his body.
Yeah, whatever. But that's the show.
I'm Spencer.
I'm JD.
And this is The Heel Turn.
Thanks for watching. The show. The Heel Turn. Oh, man.